During the contract of Bloodied Blows, Yama's health is increased to 3000. Yama and the player gain wretch strength. Your minimum hit increases the lower your hit points. At 20 HP, a Shadow of Tumiken hits a minimum of 52 in max mage gear. Before we unpause and start, I locate the orb down to 20 HP. Doing this is not a requirement, and I considered using footage of a kill where I went through phase 1 and 2 starting at 99 HP. However, hitting close to your max hit every time makes this one of the more fun contracts, and you get through the phases very fast. So fast in fact, being at 20 HP will almost guarantee you can always skip both flares and beat the DPS check. Skipping flares and DPS checks will be explained after P2. Let's unpause. Start the kill with 2 Accursed Scepter specs. Bring a Surging Potion to help get special attack back in case you miss your specs. I've highlighted which scenarios I am getting when using a glyph with waves during phase 1 and 2. If this is something you struggle with, check out my glyphic attenuation video, as it shows every case you can find yourself in, and is a good way to look up any way you died to waves during a special attack. When you spawn into the judge, eat 1 angler so you don't die to the random chip damage, or eat 2 if you're a pussy and don't want to die to a fireball. Try to be 20 to 25 hit points when entering phase 2. For phase 2, focus up, stand by your glyphs and skip flares, which will be explained after phase 2. Skipping flares and DPS checks. First, let's take a look at what skipping flares looks like. Here, flares are spawning and we ignore them and focus on the boss. When the boss starts his animation for the shadow special, we take the shadow glyph, then the fire glyph without stopping. You can lose a few ticks here, so you can attack on the way to the fire glyph. There is no need to lose any ticks on your attacks on the way. Now all the glyphs will explode and you will be fully protected from them all. Depending on which glyphs you have when the kill starts, you may run into a DPS check. To understand DPS checks, you need to know when flares will spawn in the first 2 phases. As we know, when a kill starts, you can have 3 blue glyphs with 2 red, or 3 red glyphs with 2 blue. First, let's look at 3 blue and 2 red. Flares can never spawn with a fire special, so they will never spawn 2nd or 4th. They can also never spawn for the first special, which leaves the 3rd and 5th glyphs. When coming to the 3rd glyph, it is a 50% chance they will spawn, so be ready for flares here. If they do not spawn 3rd, they will spawn 5th 100% of the time. Flares will spawn in the same place in phase 2 as they did in phase 1, so you should always be ready for flares in phase 2 once knowing where they spawned in phase 1. Taking a quick look at a 3 red glyph layout, you can see you have a 50% chance for flares on the 2nd special, and if they don't spawn there, a 100% chance for flares on the 4th special. Now, what is a DPS check? A DPS check is when you ignore both flares and then run out of glyphs soon after. However, this can only happen in a 3 blue glyph layout and never a 3 red glyph layout. Let's take a look why. In a 3 blue glyph layout, you use the first glyph to save yourself from a shadow special. You use the second glyph to save yourself from a fire special. Flares are going to spawn third, so chill for a bit, then use the third and fourth glyphs to save yourself from flares. Now run back to the first fire glyph used and stand on an empty glyph to use this fifth. This glyph will always be barely coming back in time for you to use it. Use a sixth glyph to save yourself from a shadow special, and now we have hit the DPS check. We have not done enough damage in time, and the seventh glyph will never be ready for us to use in time. Let's take a look at what this looks like in game with a sped up clip. We use the first glyph to save ourselves from a shadow special. Use the second glyph to save ourselves from a fire special. Flares spawn third, so we chill for a bit, then use the third and fourth glyph to save ourselves from flares. Run back to the first fire glyph we used and stand on an empty glyph to use this fifth, which barely comes back in time to use it. Use a sixth glyph to save ourselves from a shadow special, and now we have reached the DPS check. If you stay at 20 HP during this contract, you should not have to worry about running into this DPS check and can always skip the flares. However, for Divine Severance, Sensory Clouding and Forfeit Breath, you can skip flares but will want to be on a free fire glyph layout to avoid any DPS checks. Let's take a quick look at a 3 fire glyph layout. You use the first glyph to save yourself from a fire special. Flares spawn second, so chill for a bit, then use the second and third glyphs to save yourself from flares. And now there is still 1 fire and 1 shadow glyph left, so you can carry on like normal and never get DPS checked. Let's take a look at that sped up in game 2. We use the first glyph to save ourselves from a fire special. Flares spawn second, so we chill for a bit, then use the second and third glyphs to save ourselves from flares. And now we still have 1 fire and 1 shadow glyph left, so we can carry on like normal and never get DPS checked. I have the cycle broken down into 5 small steps indicated on screen. First, we dodge 3 fires and hit the boss, and the fires are the same as regular Yama. Now, we come to the fires tile and get ready to do the fire skip and kill 2 flares. When we get to the tile, we prepare by looking at our HP, locate an orb or rock cake if necessary to be under 14 HP, equip the purging staff and a lidness ward. Max mage is required, but a regular ward instead of fortified is fine. I equip both on the way to the next tile, which is fine as well, but equipping them early before you begin the skip is better. You do not need to special attack any of the flares at all, just chill and click the flares. When the fires appear, we click to the next tile and kill a flare. Flares spawn 2 at a time in 4 possible locations. Kill the first flare from the tile indicated with a red cross and kill a back flare first. In the case you get both the front flare spawn, this is fine, just hit a front flare instead, but always prioritize hitting a back flare first. Then the last set of fires appear and we click to the next tile indicated with a red cross and kill the remaining flare, which is a front flare the majority of the time. In the case you get 2 back flares spawn, you kill any back flare from the first tile. I usually kill the one on the left. When coming to the next tile, we hit Yama instead. Lastly, we come to the purple tile indicated with a red cross and skip through another wave and then take out the remaining flare at the back. Back to the cycle. When the fires appear, we click to the next tile and kill a flare. When the last set of fires appear, click to the next tile and kill the remaining flare. Come to the pink tile and get ready to dodge 2 more waves. These can be offset one east or west and can be dodged with an L movement. After dodging the first of the 2 remaining waves, this is when you would kill the remaining back flare if you had 2 back flares spawn. Otherwise, hit the boss. After the waves, dodge 3 more fires, then kill 2 more flares by themselves, and from here the cycle repeats. However, I attacked this flare at 15 HP, and now my minimum hit is not 71 anymore. I can still roll and hit a 71, but it's no longer guaranteed. In these situations, there is no need to panic at all. You can do one of 2 things. You can hit it again and kill it like I do in this clip, or you can instead eat one anglerfish and you will be fine. A flare having a couple hit points remaining will always hit under 20 damage, so eating an angler is enough to survive in these situations. Just stay calm and don't make a mistake to one of Yama's autos or tank a fireball, and you will get this contract done in no time. With that, I'll leave up the rest of the kill, and again, interesting drop from this one. And with that, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.